This session is designed for educators who want practical ways to, let me see if I can get this off, there we go. Practical ways to use AI in their teaching. Fawn and Bukola are going to walk us through tools, platforms, and prompting strategies that we can apply right away. And hopefully you'll leave with some ideas that you can bring directly into your classrooms. Fawn, I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to you. Please go ahead and get started. And thank you everyone for joining us.
Okay, hi everyone, good morning. So yeah, just quick introduction about me and my colleague today. My name is Fan Cao. I am a second year PhD student in spatial ed at Purdue University. Yeah, so, and Bukola, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah. Hello everyone, my name is Bukola Omowumi Abiiba, and I'm a first year PhD student here at Purdue University. Thank you for joining our session.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, everyone. So, me and Bukola, we both have the educational background. So our kind of like topic today, it's more related to education. So our topic today is AI in action for educators, practical platforms, and prompting techniques. Our agenda today, firstly, a very quick introduction about what is prompt engineering, why it matters. And the second part, probably you have kind of like seen it from previous two sessions. That is kind of like the basic structure of a smart prompt. And the last part, we will introduce some tools educators can use or people can use to help you write an effective prompt. It's pretty straightforward what is prompt engineering. It's a process of writing effective instructions for those AI tools, and we hope LLM, those large language models, can consistently generate content that meets your requirement. And why do we need that? Of course, we hope we can get accurate, relevant, and appropriate responses from those AI tools. We want to make full use of those AI tools. Okay, so these 7 elements here is also kind of like the basic structure you can use when you want to write a effective prompt in your daily life or in your daily work. So I also tried to search and read a lot of literature reviews, and I found many prompt strategies actually. But I think these 7 elements kind of like the every paper will mention. So I put it here. I'm just going to introduce them one by one. So rule is pretty straightforward. Just tell AI who it should act as. The example here, I'm going to use the lesson plan as an example. So the example here I put is act as an experienced middle school math teacher. And actually, if you use AI pretty frequently nowadays, you don't have to tell it its rule every time because it knows you very well. It knows your rule. The second part is about the task. Describe what you want AI to do. I think this element is kind of like we use it in our daily lives. Most frequently, like when I use AI, I would just use the task, this element. I will tell it to summarize this paragraph for me. But actually, to describe a task, it's pretty difficult. For AI, if you want it to give you a very good answer, of course, it's not enough. Just tell it to generate a lesson plan for you. You kind of like need to describe the task in a very, very detailed way. So, for example, you need to think about what are key elements in this task. What makes this task different from other tasks? So for a lesson plan, probably you need to put your learning objectives. You need to put your learning procedures for students in your lesson plan. Okay, so I have an example about how to describe the lesson plan, this task later, because you need to use kind of like many words to describe. So I didn't put it in this slide. Okay, so next one is outcome constraint. I have seen it, kind of like being mentioned in both last two sessions. But here I still want to say it's just to, the example here is write in a professional, concise, and teacher-friendly tone with short paragraphs. paragraphs. So this is also based on the lesson plan examples. Just tell AI how the response should look like, its format or its tone. So next to contact and reference, they too can be similar. Actually, they too can be very similar sometimes. Just imagine that you have a task you want your student to do, or you want your colleague to do. Probably you need to explain kind of like the background information, or you give it some materials they can refer to. So contact is just emphasize more about the background information. For example, you need to create a lesson plan. You need to tell AI like how many students in your class. Do you have any students with disabilities, right? And what are materials you have in your classroom, and are these materials are good enough to kind of like for some activities? About the reference here, if I need to create a lesson plan, I will definitely kind of like upload my previous lesson plan examples for AI to refer to, and I will upload the Indiana academic standard too, because lesson plan, the learning objective of lesson plan, they need to align to those academic standards. Okay, so the last two elements here, it's evaluate and iterate. I believe everyone is doing these two stuff every time when you use AI. Evaluate is just to check whether whether AI's response meets your goal, to check whether their answers are accurate or not. Iterate is just based on AI's output, and you can keep talking to AI to adjust its response. Okay, so these 7 elements here. So actually, these 7 elements here for me, for my daily life and daily work, it's just kind of like a reminder. So sometimes when I cannot get a very good answer from the AI, I will think about maybe I can tell it my rule today. Maybe it will make it better, or maybe I should put like more outcome constraint. So I think this, it's just a very good reminder here for you guys. Okay, so this slide, I put the complete, kind of like the complete prompt I'm going to use to create a very specific lesson plan. So the red words here, you can see experienced middle school math teacher, that is rule. The green parts here, it's the outcome constraint. So I use the blue part and the purple part to describe the lesson plan, this task. The blue part, you can see, create a structured lesson plan on understanding and solving simple problems for grade 7 students in Indiana. So from this sentence, at least you can get 3 important information here. The first is the topic, understanding and solving simple problems. And the second part is students' grade, right? Grade 7, and which state they're in Indiana. And the purple part, you can find kind of the key components I want to put in the lesson plan, or the structure of the lesson plan. It includes lesson titles, grade levels, time standards, and so on. So based on this and these 7 elements, actually I created kind of like a prompt template teachers can use every time if they want to create different lesson plans. So what they need to do is just to replace kind of like those key elements in the parentheses. Here you can see like the grade level, the lesson title. This is kind of like the way you can use the prompt template. You copy and paste it into different AI tools every time, but it's still kind of like troublesome. So I kind of like use the AI agent too. I come from Purdue too, so our university also use Copilot, and we got the membership so we can create AI agent. I think AI agent is just like you created an expert which has expertise in doing something. So for this slide, I created a lesson plan agent for myself. It means this AI agent has the expertise in creating lesson plan. At the same time, it will create lesson plans in the way I want. Okay, so I think I would just going to share my screen to let you guys kind of like to see. Maybe you can. Okay, so maybe you can see my screen now. I'm not sure whether you can see. Yeah, but if you cannot see, maybe you can type in the chat box.
Yep, we got it up. It's up there.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so you can see kind of like it's pretty easy to create an agent here using Copilot. You can just click the plus here. If you use ChatGPT, you need to pay. If you use Claude, I don't think you need to, but it's called Skill, I think. So for the lesson plan agent I created here, it has two ways you can create it. Describe part, you can just talk to it and tell it what kind of agent you want to create, and it will keep asking you questions until it got enough information to create this agent. But I choose the other way as the presenter, as the speaker showed in the last session. I just put like my instructions here. So I just want this agent to use the following prompt to create my lesson plan. So this kind of like this template here, it's just I created before the prompt template for my lesson plan. And you can put the knowledge here. I don't have the function of uploading documents. I think you need to pay more money to get that function, but it still can search all websites, and you can put specific URL here. Actually, what I will do is just upload my Word documents into the OneDrive and copy the link there. And about the suggested prompts here, you can just put the key elements in those parentheses, like the topic, the state, or the grade. After you created this, actually, it's pretty easy to see. You will see the service like this. So this is kind of like the agent you have created. So every time you want to create a different lesson plan, you just need to tell it the topic of the lesson, the state, and the grade level. So you don't need to create the whole prompt again and again. So, and after you put this information, and you will get the lesson plan you want in a pretty structured way. So let me see. Yes, so this is kind of like the result outcome. So I just use the lesson plan agent. I kind of like input the title, the topic of this lesson, the grade level, and the student state here. Just give this information, and it will just generate the lesson plan in a very structured way you want. So this is kind of like one tool you can use. But for teachers, of course, in their daily works, they need to do to finish other tasks too, not only lesson plans. So I do find this website is kind of like pretty helpful if you don't want to create different prompts like for different tasks. So this is kind of like a prompt library you can use. Still use the lesson plan as an example. If you click lesson plan, actually still need to find lesson plans here if you click it. So you can find they provided you prompt template too, and the examples and some tips here. So that is one way you can kind of like you still need to copy and paste this prompts into different AI tools. Actually, nowadays, there are many AI tools that already exist. So if you just search AI prompt generators, so those AI tools, they are kind of like they have the expertise to generate effective prompts for you. If you search online, there are a lot actually, and I tried most of them. They need you to pay. So I usually just use the prompt coach inside the Copilot. So it means it has expertise in creating prompts, and also I find the kind of like the basic logic between the basic logic of these AI prompt generators. It's just like they keep asking you questions. They keep asking you questions till they can get enough information about your tasks. As I mentioned before, it's kind of like pretty hard for you to describe a task very well in a detailed way, and it will keep asking you more information about those elements I have mentioned before too, like the outcome constraint. So for example, if I use a prompt coach here, I said I want to create a lesson plan. Okay, so it will ask you questions like, so help create do you want to create a prompt for Copilot to generate the lesson plan? Yes, that is what I want. So I just choose the first one, and then it will ask you to define the goal. What do you want Copilot to produce for you? like, so it's just kind of like a talking process with those AI prompt generators. The last tool I want to introduce here is more advanced, I think. So this is called Ready to Use AI Prompts for Teaching. If you look at this page, it's pretty similar like the prompt library I have shown you guys before. You can see many different tasks here and many different prompt template here, right? So if you still click the lesson plan, it will connect to the Gemini automatically. It will just go to this tool, and here actually it's a prompt template they have written for creating the lesson plan. At the same time, it will keep asking you more kind of like more questions about your tasks to get more information. Okay, so I think that is kind of like my part. I just finished my part, and then I'm going to introduce my kind of like co-presenter to talk more about different educational AI tools. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Fan, for bringing me on. So for the concluding part of our session, I'll be demonstrating two key AI tools which can be used by special educators and general educators. Meanwhile, we actually intend discussing about these two key AI tools because of time constraints. Not like they are the only one, but there are so many AI tools that can be explored by teachers, both the general educators and the special educators. So for the purpose of this demonstration, I'll be using MagicSchool AI as the first tool. So can you see my screen?
Yes, we
Mike?
can. We got you up. Yep, we got you up live.
Okay, thank you. So here we have the MagicSchool AI. The MagicSchool AI is a very essential tool for both the general educators and the special educators. This MagicSchool AI is so good in the sense that it can be used by the teachers, it can be used by students, and even it has a chat bot whereby you can ask any question whenever you are stuck. Now, I will recommend four main things on this MagicSchool AI, which is the first one is academic content, professional email, IEP generator, and YouTube video questions. So at the end of this session, you can actually explore, take your time to explore and navigate and go through all these features as they are very, very essential. Now, I will demonstrate using this academic content to create a lesson plan. So here we have the academic content asking for the grade level. This is the 7th grade. And for the purpose of the topic, the standard and the objective, I will copy that and paste that because of time. Okay, so here I have, please act as an experienced middle school teacher and create a structured lesson plan on understanding and solving simple proportions for students in Indiana. The lesson plan should include lesson title, grade level, time, standard, learning objective, assessment, UDL and individual support, technology and instructional resources, and instructional procedures. Write in a professional, clear, concise, and teacher-friendly tone with short paragraphs. You will notice that I actually input some things in this my prompt. And the first one is the role, which is to act as an experienced middle school teacher. The next one is the task, which is understanding and solving simple proportions. And finally, the outcome I'm actually expecting is in a professional, clear, concise, and teacher-friendly tone. Now for the text length, I'll just input 1 page. For the content type, I don't have anything to input here, but if you want, you can put a short story, a procedural text, news article, textbook page, depending on what your outcome is. And for the additional criteria, I would like to add a file. And this file is Indiana Academic Standard Mathematics for grade 7 learners. So I'll put that in now. While that is being uploaded, so Depending, lesson plan, in most cases, it has to be something exploratory, explanatory enough for your learners in the classroom. Make sure you just input based on the outcome and the goal you're actually expecting so that your learner can actually get the best. And one thing I want you to notice is that as educators, AI should not be the last resort. Whenever you get the output, you get the outcome, make sure you go through it, you evaluate, is it in line with what you're expecting? And at the end of the day, make sure you iterate. If it is not in line with what you're expecting, you can prompt it to suggest a better option for you. Okay. All right. While this is still processing, let me just explain briefly about the chatbot. This chatbot is right now, and it is very essential as well. You can use it anytime you are stuck, adding information, and you get the output. And finally, we have the Magic Student. Magic Students can also be explored by your students. They have rooms, they have resources, quizzes, and a lot of things that can actually be explored by the students in the classroom. Now, we are ready, so I'll just click on Generate. So I have my lesson plan ready. And if I actually go through this and it's actually not in line with what I'm expecting, you can actually prompt it again to suit what exactly you are expecting as an educator. Yeah. Okay, so I'll go back. Another thing you can actually use this MagicSchool AI to do is to write professional email and also IEP generator. IEP is individualized educational program, and IEP goal is to support and enhance students' learning, most especially students that have diverse needs or students with disabilities. So for this IEP generator, I will do a demo as well. So for the grade level, I have 7th grade. And for the disability category that I'll be looking at is autism, spectrum disorder. So and for the description, I'll copy that because of time. So I have a special needs student with autism spectrum disorder. The student age 12 reacts strongly to loud noises, bright lights or wet textures, covers ears or eyes, and doesn't like certain smell or taste, seek or avoid sensory stuff. So I'll click on generate. So this is trying to align to the standard that I've already prompted in. So, and here we have it. So MagicSchool AI is very, very essential. At your leisure, you can just explore and go through so many features that are there for your own use. The second tools I'll be exploring is EduAid. EduAid also works similarly, just like the MagicSchool AI, and this is a very good AI instructional materials for every classroom. It helps teachers to create lesson materials, graphic organizers, games and assessments. It helps you to review, revise, differentiate, and even export the results. This is a very good platform where good idea becomes great lessons, and I recommend it for every educator, just like the MagicSchool AI as well. One good thing about this EduAid is that it has subject essential. So we have early childhood, we have social studies, science, technology and engineering, mathematics, English language and literature, speech and language learning, career and technical education, arts and humanity. And just like MagicSchool AI as well, EduAid also has a chatbot, which is Erasmus. Erasmus is very good, whereby you can ask any question, and even you can use it to like check your output and check for accuracy and biases. And also it has a special workspace for you as an educator, whereby you can create your own resources, you can create a blank document, you can import documents and even view recent generations. Now, in conclusion, I'll just state this. Always check for bias and accuracy, because AI isn't perfect. It might produce bias or incorrect information. Always review before sharing with your students. And also, one thing I'll say is always use the 80-20 rule. Let AI handle the initial 80% as your draft. Then you can add the final touch as the teacher, and that is your 20%. Then trust your judgment. Note that AI is a starting tool and not the final solution. Always adhere to your school guidelines, your district guidelines, and the principal as well whenever you are trying to use AI in the classroom. Also, protect your students' privacy. Never include student names or their personal information in your prompt, and define your context clearly. When you define your context clearly, you get the best output and the best outcome whenever you are using all these AI tools. Your context must be clear, precise, and this makes the results not to be ambiguous. Also, make sure you state your objective. Do not forget this anytime you are entering and putting in a prompt. And identify your audience as well. Make sure you prompt in the correct grade level you intend instructing. And finally, make sure as an educator you use AI to refine and not to replace. Your idea and critical thinking always comes first as a teacher, as an educator in the classroom. Thank you so much for joining our session. In case you have any question or suggestion, we are ready to listen.
We're gonna take any questions now. Go ahead and post them in the comments. Also, if you have some of your own favorite AI educator tools, share those in the link as well. There are so many different tools we get to use to do. So any questions as we get started here, or as we not get started, wind up this session? Thank you everyone for joining. Thank you, Chow, Fan and Bukola for coming and for sharing with us today. What are you guys most excited about in the frontier as we look forward to what AI is doing? Is there anything in particular that either of you are looking forward to experiencing?
I think for me personally, I'm kind of like worrying more about the future education, because I feel like for students not in the K through 12, if they're in the K through 12, they still not have good judgment about like when to use AI. It's pretty hard. Even in the university, you can find many instructors. They don't allow students to use AI in their kind of like basic program, those courses, but they still use it. So it's pretty hard to be a good instructor in the future, because probably you need to design some assignments. You have to let students to use AI, but you have to change your assignments, kind of like you put AI inside, let them to use AI in a more wise way. Yeah, that's my thought.
Okay, from my own hand, I'll just say AI is very essential as it now makes teachers' burden much more lesser than it used to be before. You know, teacher, most time you have to take a very long period of time scheduling your lesson plan, your lesson notes, you have to do this, you have to do that. But with this AI, it makes the work and the job much more easier. And even you can communicate to your learners in diverse ways, diverse manners that even you yourself, you're not even thinking about as a teacher. And when you even think about some things, you have an idea. When you structure it into AI can help you to like refine it and even make it much more better than the way you're even thinking at first. So I think AI has come to stay. The only thing we just have to do is learn how to make best use of it. Thank you.